Welcome back to Story Stash. I'm your host Duncan, and these are some of my stories I've written. Today I'm reading from my book Ghost Whisperer, and this is chapter 18. So let's get started. Chapter 18. Next morning, Ed woke up. He showered, dressed, and got a pot of coffee. He drove to work and arrived at Disnotech. Everything appeared normal. Soon, he was at his cubicle, working on software bug fixes again. He was as happy as the proverbial pig in muck. Later on, Connor arrived. He descended through the ceiling and stopped at Ed's cubicle. Ed smiled. He stood and walked to the janitor's closet and shut the door. Connor arrived soon after. "Hello, Connor," said Ed. "We found the evidence where Cooper told us it was." "Good. I'll call Ellen. You can lead us to the evidence. Then we let the lawyer handle the rest." "Excellent. Hopefully it won't cost you too much." "I don't know yet." "On another topic, you sent a ghost to me the other night," asked Connor. "Yes, it was late, and I thought you'd figure out what they wanted. I took care of it." "Good. Less work for me." Connor shrugged. "Hey, I was meaning to mention this. I met a ghost at that Italian restaurant. She tracked me down the next day. I didn't tell her my address," said Ed. "That makes sense. In the spirit world, you're a big blip on the radar. So that explains why I attract so many ghosts." "Yes, they're drawn to you. You're hard to miss." "I'd best call Ellen and check if she has time this evening to go on a treasure hunt." "I'll stick around to get her answer," said Connor. Ed called Ellen on his cell phone. "Hello, Ed," she said. "Ellen, I need your help. Are you available this evening?" "Sure. Will you pick me up at my place?" "Yes, I'll be there after I finish work. I'll bring Connor with me." "Okay." Ed hung up. "Okay, it's set for after work." "I'll meet you at quitting time," said Connor. Connor disappeared, and Ed returned to his cubicle. At quitting time, Ed shut down his computer. Just as he was about to leave the building, Connor arrived. "Hello, Ed." Ed smiled, but said nothing where he might be overheard. Ed walked outside and Connor floated to Ed's car. Connor sat in the front passenger seat. "We must fetch Ellen first," said Ed. "Understood." Ed drove directly to Ellen's home. The security guard waved him past the main gate, and he drove up to the front door. Ellen was waiting for him, together with her security detail in an SUV. Ed exited the car and opened the rear passenger door for Ellen. "I'm sorry, but Connor is in the front seat." "Oh, no worries." "Hi, Connor," she said. "Hello, Ellen," said Connor, although Ellen couldn't see or hear him. Ed got back into the driver's seat. "Ellen," he said hello back. "Oh, okay." From this point, Connor provided directions, and Ed drove. "So, where are we going?" asked Ellen. "We're helping a ghost to prove someone is innocent. We're off to fetch the evidence." "Understood. This is fun." Ed followed Connor's directions. The SUV followed a short distance from behind. An hour later, the two cars pulled up outside a residential/rural location. The single-story home had no lights on. Out front were several vehicles, mostly pickup trucks on blocks and in various states of disrepair. "This is the place. Go to the red pickup truck," said Connor. "We're here." Ed exited the car and opened Ellen's door. "The red pickup truck." Ed, Connor, and Ellen walked over to the red pickup truck. "It's unlocked, and there's a large envelope under the front seat," said Connor. Ed opened the door and fetched the envelope. "Let's take this to your place." "Sure." They got back in his car, and the convoy returned to her mansion. Back at her mansion, the security guard waved them past the main gate, and they drove up to the front door. Ed, Connor, and Ellen exited the car and entered the mansion. Ellen led them to the family room. So, according to the ghost, a woman called Ellie Mae died. A man named Billy was convicted of her murder, although he was innocent. This information is supposed to clear his name, said Ed. Okay. They opened the envelope and examined the documents. This looks like something my lawyer would be more qualified to examine. I can call him tomorrow, said Ellen. I was thinking we could use some funds from our charitable trust to cover this. That's an option. I'll talk to my lawyer. He owes me some favors. Perhaps I can talk him into lowering his fees for this. Excellent. I'm glad of whatever you can do, partner. Ellen and Ed grinned at each other. Ed, I'll leave you with this and tell Cooper you're working on it, said Connor. Okay, Connor. See you later. Connor floated out through a nearby wall. Ellen looked at Ed. He's gone. Thank you for including me in this. I enjoy working with you, said Ellen. This job has been successful. No danger involved. Would you stay for coffee or perhaps dinner? Sure. Thank you, Ellen. Ellen picked up a phone and called to arrange dinner, while Ed sat back and relaxed. Some jobs won't be so easy, said Ed. Ellen sat close and put her hand on Ed's arm. That's okay. We'll handle them one at a time. No sense getting stressed out. Ellen's words were just right. They calmed his worries about future unknown work. Tell me about your day, asked Ellen. Next morning, Ed woke up in bed. He showered, dressed, and got himself coffee. Ed sat on the sofa and sipped his coffee. He picked up his book and read a few pages. Something was different this morning. He drove to work and pulled up outside Disnotech. He noticed Blake wasn't waiting outside. Ed entered the building and walked to his cubicle. With nothing to disturb him, Ed worked on software bug fixes. He worked until about noon, when he received a phone call on his cell. Hello, Ellen, he said. Hello, Ed. Do you have a minute? Sure. My lawyer came over this morning. He has taken the case on. He should update me soon. Fantastic. I really enjoyed spending time with you last night, and I can't wait for our next job. I'll contact you as soon as I get something new. You're welcome to visit me anytime. I enjoy your company. Okay, I'm tired and must rest this evening. I won't be good company tonight. In a few days I was thinking of taking you to an Italian restaurant. Oh? It's quite haunted, but the ghost said I was welcome to bring a guest with me. Cool. Well, now I'm looking forward to it. I'd better get back to work. Thank you for the update, said Ed. The call ended. Ed resumed his work on software bug fixes. At quitting time, Ed shut down his computer. He looked for signs of Connor, but found none. Perhaps Connor was handling all the requests today. It was like Connor provided primary support while Ed intervened in severe cases. Ed walked to his car and drove home. In his apartment, Ed sat on the sofa and read from his book. After a while, he went to bed. Soon he was deep asleep. Later, Ed awoke to see his bedroom. He was floating above his bed. What the? He said to himself. Ed rolled over and attempted to return to sleep. Instead, he was looking down at his body. He was also not feeling sleepy. Whoa, is this a dream? It didn't take long for Ed to realize this wasn't a dream. This was an out-of-body experience. Ed tried to reach out with his arms and legs. With little success. He was weightless. Ed thought, down. Immediately he floated down, through his body, the bed, and the floor. He stopped a floor below the one his apartment was on. He was in a neighbor's bedroom. Up, he thought. His spectral form floated up through the ceiling and the floor of his bedroom. He floated up through his body and was back where he'd started. This is ridiculous. Ed needed help. Perhaps he could find Connor. Connor could help. Ed thought, take me to police headquarters to find Connor. Immediately, he floated up and out through the exterior wall. He flew up and over the rooftops. After a short while, Ed arrived at police headquarters. He saw another ghost floating above the building, so he thought his way in that direction. It wasn't Connor. Sarah, said Ed. Oh crap, have you died? Did someone murder you? No, at least I don't think so. I woke up like this. Ed looked down. They were high up, and it made him feel sick. Hey Sarah, can we go lower? I'm not good with heights. Sure, just think down slowly and stop a few feet above the ground. He did that. They floated down until he felt better. Ed, where is your body? Asked Sarah. Back in my apartment. I appeared floating above the bed. Were you still breathing? I think so. At least I hope so. Currently I'm freaking out about this. I don't know how it works if you're not dead. You shouldn't stay away long if you hope to wake up. Flora the ghost decided she would pay Ed a visit. To a ghost who didn't sleep, she was unaware it was late. She had a talent to track him down. Actually, Ed stood out like a sore thumb. It was hard not to find him. She floated over the rooftops until she reached his apartment building. The closer she got, the easier it was to sense his location. Flora descended and floated through the wall. She entered his bedroom, finding him asleep in bed. This is rather annoying. If she was a poltergeist, she might wake him up. She lowered over his form and looked at the sleeping man. As Flora stroked his head, she realized something was different. His spirit was missing, although it wasn't clear to her that was the case. For fun, Flora sunk into Ed's body. With the power of her will, she took possession of his body. Ed opened his eyes. Only it was Flora inside. He sat up and swung his legs over the side of the bed. Slowly he stood up. Wow! This time he spoke out aloud. Flora hadn't spoken aloud in over a century. Ed's body walked to the bathroom. It took Flora a few minutes to figure out the light switch. She didn't have electricity when she'd lived. With the light on, she saw Ed's body in the mirror. I'd better put some clothes on, Ed's body said aloud. Ed returned to the bedroom and dressed. As she left the apartment with Ed's body, she took his wallet. She'd learned a lot from observing the living as a ghost. She knew they had wallets or purses with money in. Meanwhile, Ed's spirit floated outside the police headquarters with Sarah. Ed, you need to return to your body, said Sarah. Easier said than done. I'm still new to moving as a ghost. Your thoughts control your motion. Think of returning to your apartment. I'll follow you, okay? Okay. Ed thought, take me to my apartment. Immediately, he floated up and back towards his apartment. Sarah followed close behind. The height triggered feelings of vertigo. Ed tried to close his eyes, but discovered he didn't have any. Soon, they descended and floated through the wall into his living room. You handled that well, said Sarah. Ed thought, take me to my bedroom. He floated through the open bedroom door. He didn't remember leaving the door open. Hey, it's gone, said Ed. What's gone? My body is gone. Crap. Ed's body walked along the sidewalk in Ed's body. It was dark outside, but she had a rough idea where she was. The few cars that passed Flora by fascinated her. They were probably people going home late at night. Sadly, she didn't know how to drive. They didn't have horseless carriages in her time. Fortunately, she walked past a bus stop at the same time as a bus arrived. The door opened in front of her. Hello, are you headed downtown? Asked the driver. Why, yes, young man. Is this carriage headed there? It is. Ed stepped inside. He took a $5 bill from Ed's wallet and handed it to the driver. Inside the bus, She saw a few other passengers seated in rows. It was clear what to do. Ed sat down in a vacant seat. "You may proceed, driver," said Ed. The driver looked at Ed funny. He closed the door and continued driving. "Your body can't wander off without you. Perhaps it got abducted again," said Sarah. "Without a body, I'm no use to you. I must find my body. I can fetch Connor. While I'm gone, maybe you can check around outside the building. I'll meet you here soon." "Okay, I'll do that. It could be nearby." Sarah floated out through a wall and was gone. Ed tried to take a deep breath to calm himself. He discovered he couldn't breathe in spirit form. He floated out through a wall. Ed's body got off the bus at a stop downtown. Flora recognized some nearby buildings. Ed walked along the sidewalk. Despite the changes in this area, Flora was familiar with it. She'd wandered around here in her spectral form. This area was her home. Ed's body arrived outside the Italian restaurant, but the restaurant was closed at this late hour. The door was locked. Flora looked in the window and saw several ghosts inside. They just sat at tables doing nothing. It was like a senior center, except these ghosts were much older. As a ghost, Flora could enter the restaurant whenever she wanted. As Ed, she couldn't. It was both new and frustrating. Ed turned and walked across the street to a nearby park. Several hours remained until dawn, and more hours until the restaurant opened. Ed sat on a park bench. As a ghost, Flora didn't sit. She just floated just above the chair. As Ed, she felt the bench under her. It pushed up at Ed's behind. Ed breathed in deeply, taking in the fresh night air. Flora reveled in this sensation, something she'd long since forgotten as a ghost. The park had existed for decades, nearly as old as she. She'd been here before. Now she experienced it differently. Ed's maneuvering skills as a ghost were improving. He desperately needed to find his body. By now, Ed was in a panic. He'd searched all around the apartment complex. No sign of his body. No grey van or black SUV. Still no idea where to look. He wondered how long his body would continue breathing without him. He may already be deceased. "Ed, is that you?" Connor descended from the sky. Ed waited for Connor to descend to his level. "Sarah found you?" asked Ed. "Yes, she said you're in trouble and I'm to come immediately." "Connor, I've lost my body. It was last seen in my bedroom. I somehow left my body. I went in search of you, and when I returned it was gone." "So, you're having an out-of-body experience, like what happened to Ellen?" asked Connor. "Yes. And I helped Ellen find her body. Did she tell you how?" "No, she didn't. Once she'd found it, we didn't discuss that. I'll tell you. We flew around until she felt a tingling sensation. Then we flew in whatever direction that caused the sensation to increase," said Connor. "You think we can do that?" "Let's hope so. How good are you at moving around?" "I'm getting better with practice." "Let's get moving. I'll follow you. Start by flying in a wide circle and be aware of your senses." "Understood." As they ascended and flew around in a large circle. "It's not working. I sense nothing at all," said Ed. Ed stopped and hovered in one location. Connor joined him. "Let's try another approach. You were a significant blip on the radar. Perhaps your body still is. Follow me and try to keep up." Connor floated off towards downtown Seattle. Ed followed. He didn't get nauseous, as all his attention was on following Connor. As they approached the older part of town, Ed noticed something. "Connor, I feel something." "Yeah, me too. I think I know where we're going." They descended into a wide street. "That's the Italian restaurant with all the ghosts I told you about," said Ed. He pointed at the building. "The restaurant is closed, and I don't think your body is in there." "It's somewhere in that direction." Ed pointed at a park. They floated across the street towards the park. I see you. I see your body dead ahead, said Connor. Ed and Connor floated up to Ed's body, which sat on a park bench. Hello, Ed. I see you brought a friend, said Ed's body. Well, that's the end of Chapter 18. Next episode we have Chapter 19. Ed gets his body back, and Ed meets a genie. Hope to see you next episode. Goodbye.